You don't love it nearly enough, apparently. So we're going to do a great big fat normalization case study involving the normalizing of several distinct pieces of information to generate an entity relationship diagram of some considerable heft. So, it is good to pay attention to the process during this class, as you will be expected to produce you will be expected to do this on the exam. So the exam, might as well talk about the exam. The exam is a somewhat similar affair to the midterm. There's a good hefty chunk of it, which is multiple choice, in the same manner as it was before. Of course, the content of the questions will be different. In place of the section of the exam where you write a bunch of select queries, there is a section at the end of it where you are given a bunch of receipts and you have to normalize the data and draw an ERD from them. And so we are going to practice this. We are going to practice it today. We are going to practice it tomorrow during lab, and that is going to be the practice. All right? Sound good? It's going to be kind of board heavy, but I suppose I can kill the lights a little bit. Does it seem out of focus too?
Yeah. A bit.
Funny things. There we go. It's a bit better. So, you guys want to do Terra landscaping or Acme steel? All for Terra landscaping? Everybody for Acme steel? Well, there you have it. Oh, docx, my favorite file format. Did you know that all of the, Microsoft Office X file formats, the X literally means we zipped it. So if you take a regular zip utility and unzip the file, change the file extension to .zip, unzip it, you've got a bunch of XML. It's kind of interesting. Okay. So, oh look, normalization practice for the final exam. I wonder if this has anything to do with the final exam. Why is it? Okay, alright. Is that more readable or less than non-dark mode? Light mode? Okay.
Light mode.
Yeah, light mode?
Light mode's better.
I don't know how to do that. View, switch modes. There we go, alright. So, in the case study that follows, you will see 3 reports used by the Acme Steel Company. You are required to do the following. Normalize the reports and draw an ERD for the Acme Steel Company. So, 8 entities and 7 relationships. Yay! So, we have a skills inventory report, we have a time ticket, and we have a labor distribution report. This sounds extremely dry. It's like, oh man. Let's just be the ultimate cogs in the machines, okay? But our goal is to be the shiniest cogs in the machines, okay? So, let's get a start on it. So, what's the first thing you do when you're normalizing the data? You find the entities. Yes, that's what you're going to say, right? Yeah. So, I'm going to have to be conservative with board space, I think, but yes. So, so this is the skills inventory. Is that too small for you guys? Can you read that at the back? At the back? Okay. So, what do we have? Skills inventory report is like that itself is not an entity. It's just the title of the document, right? What entities do we have? Skill code. Very good. So we've got skill code. What else?
Skill description.
Skill description. I'm going to abbreviate some of these. By the way, on the final exam, if any of these are long, I am very happy for you to use reasonable abbreviations. If you write less, I have to read less, right? So, skill code, skill description. What else?
Employee number.
It's clearly electromagnetic pulse number.
EMP? No.
I share that ambition. And of course, skill level. There are a couple of others. What do you think?
Date.
Page number? Well,
Date.
date. Let's consider date first. And let's talk about page number. Do you think the page number of the report will have anything to do with anything once everything's in a database?
No.
Probably not, right? That's particularly an artifact of like the particular print job that this data was dumped into, right? So I would say that we can probably safely ignore page number in a way that we can't ignore line number a lot of the time, right? But page number is something we can probably just, right? We're ignoring page number. So, all right. So, first normal form. What do we got? How do we compute the first normal form?
Remove calculated values if you don't have values.
Yes, remove calculated values. Yep, we don't appear to have any calculated values here, so what's the other thing we do?
So look.
Sorry?
The skill code.
The skill code as a primary key? Well,
There's repetition.
there's repetition, so it can't be a primary key in and of itself. Yes?
So if there's multiple columns, repeated columns, then you gotta remove those as well.
Mm-hmm, that's right. Is this a situation where we have multiple repeated columns, or even the hints thereof?
Yeah. I think skill level, no?
Skill cells.
So I'll tell you one thing that we do have, right? If we were to take this data and tabulate it inside of a spreadsheet, this little guy here, right? We would need a date column, and we would have to repeat that for every record, right? Make sense? But in our case, we are not necessarily interested in the specific data in this table. what we're trying to come up with is the normal forms so that we can produce an entity relationship diagram. So, it's sufficient for us to say, you know, there's going to be a column for date that everything's going to have something in, right? So, yes, I think that's all of our entities. So we need to decide on what we're doing for a key for this table. You already said that the skill code seems to be primary key-ish, right? It does contain repetition. Yes?
So we do employee number as primary key?
Employee number also has repetition, but also seems quite primary key-ish.
Both
Right.
of them.
Both of them? Ah, what's that called?
Composite.
A composite key, yes. So, yes. We have no column here, which would work as a primary key on its own, so we must produce a composite key. And if we are at the same time trying to think this through with logic and, you know, reasoning skills, it makes sense that we would have skills applied to employees, and each one of those would be a unique, like, we would have a skill level for each combination of those. But those are the primary things at issue, right? So, okay. First normal form. Our primary keys, our composite key, is skill, code, and employee number. The rest, that's Steam, right?
Discord.
Discord, yeah. The rest of these fall as the dependent values. Skill, description, employee, name, skill, level, and date. Right? So, okay, so that's our first normal form. What's our second normal form? How do we calculate second normal form?
Are the columns that are dependent to other columns. There wasn't this in our.
Yeah, that's good. You just have to be a bit more specific, because that also describes third normal form, right? Yes?
Was it remove repetition in the rows?
Remove repetition in the rows, yes. So, do we have any repetition in the rows?
Yes,
A lot of them.
quite a bit, yeah.
Well, except that each combination here is unique between these two. So, you know, here's another way of formulating it, right? Second normal form, we are isolating the attributes which are dependent on our primary keys, right? Third normal form, we're isolating the things that are dependent on non-primary keys, right? You had a comment?
I was gonna say that, skills description could be dependent on skill code. Is that third normal form?
Well, is skill code one of our primary keys in first normal form?
It's part of it.
Yes. So yes, this is second normal form.
Okay, that's.
Yes. So under second normal form, we take this, right? We've got skill code plus employee number. This table will probably still have some values in it, right? But skill code may have some values may have some attributes dependent only on it, and employee number may have some values dependent only on it, right? So, let's go through them in sequence. Skill description. What is this dependent on? Skill code. Very good. Very good. You guys seem to be getting the hang of this. Employee name.
Employee number.
Employee number. Good. Skill level. That should be a comma.
So that's gonna
Skill level for employee number.
code
Impose
plus
a
employee number,
Those of that, I think.
skill code.
So for this one, the composite key, right? Because if you think through it like in terms of the reasoning brain, right? You assign a skill level to a particular employee for a particular skill, right? So you need both. How about date? Does an employee have a date? Does a skill have a date? Does the date that you determined that an employee has a particular skill level have a date? So I would argue date should be right here. Date is kind of like this guy, right? This is gonna end up being our like, you know, employee skill lines would be the name of the table, right? So, you know, the date on which the entry was made would be here. It's not anything to do with like what a skill is. It's not anything to do with what an employee, like stuff about an employee, right? Are we making sense so far? Okay. So, all right.
Will that be everything for second number 4?
Third normal form. Sorry?
No, that okay. You just answered my question.
Yes. So for the third normal form.
I love their normal form.
Third normal form, yeah. Just like in Garfield, right? Oh man. Some of the Garfield fan art is quite wild. I can see at least half the class knows what I'm talking about. Here, we are trying to isolate any attributes which are not dependent on the key for the table, but dependent on some other value in the table, right? A non-key attribute. So, in the case of these two tables, we only have one dependent attribute anyways. So there's no, like, in order to have an attribute dependent on a non-key attribute, there have to be at least two of them, right? So these ones are good. They are unaltered in the third normal form. Does that make sense? Right. So the next thing that we have to determine is that there a dependency relationship between skill and date. And I would encourage you not to use your rational mind for this one. I would encourage you to think purely in terms of the repetition of the data, right? So, on this, does the date vary as skill level varies? No. Does skill level vary as date varies?
But there's only just one date, so
Yeah,
yeah.
That'd be
so
an assumption.
it would be an assumption,
then.
right? So, in fact, the date does not vary at all in this table. What you, like, in order to make a determination about that, you would need more than one of these, right? You'd need more than one of these inventory reports. So, personally, I'm comfortable leaving things where they are. Just so you know, I haven't actually looked at the solution for this. We'll see how close we get, okay? Should be interesting.
So in that case, for when you just get to second normal form, that means that you just finish everything, right?
For this specific one.
Yeah.
This is specific.
I mean,
example, yeah, of course.
We did do the analysis to see if there was anything that needed to be done for third normal form, right? But
There isn't.
there isn't. So, you know, yeah. So our a way of saying that is that our third normal form is identical to our second normal form. If you wanted, you could take all of this and write it again, but I'm just gonna say ditto. Right? Make sense? Okay. That's one report. Let's take a look at time ticket. So,
We will have to make all the reports in at the end, right?
I think I'm gonna split it this way. So, time tickets. So, sorry, what'd you say?
No, I just assuming that at the end of everything we have like the big diagram for all the different reports that we have, right?
Yes, and
You can see
basically,
they are related.
yeah, the key to putting the big diagram together at the end is realizing that under certain forms of normalization, some of these tables are gonna be the same tables, right? But basically, like some of them you'll have to like condense, you know? It's like, oh, the employee number, the employee table, here this one only gives me name, but over here I have like address as well. So really that's one table that has name and address in it, right? But you know, we're getting there. So, what are my entities?
Time sheet number.
Time sheet number, yeah, time ticket number. What else? Date, yep, good. Next, employee number, employee name. You can see some of this is rhyming already.
Department number.
Part number,
Regular hours and overtime.
reg hours, and overtime. OT hours. The ever popular overtime. Good. Is that on the board? That's a sticker. No, it's a piece of tape. Who takes? Oh, hate people. That's even worse. All right.
It's like those guys who post up the profile picture of like a little hair.
Oh, that's so bad. All right. So, first normal form. All right. So, what's our procedure? Once again, what are we looking for in first normal form? Sorry?
Columns.
Columns, yeah, redundant data, redundant columns. So,
No columns.
well, it's kind of interesting, right? Because like, given that these are time tickets, you can imagine many such tickets, right? I would argue possibly that we have repetition here that would be expanded in the first normal form. Right? So what you would end up with is like, you know, ticket number as a column, date as a column, employee number, employee name, all as columns in front of these. And then you'd have to do something about these as well,
Okay.
right? Yeah, you'd have, like, we don't want null values, so, right? We put zeros in or something. Well, maybe we leave nulls. Null and zero is kind of the same thing, but yeah. All right. So, are there any calculated values here? No calculated values, so we have no calculated values to remove. Good. So, let us consider what do you think primary keys, like what is there any one thing here that looks as though it might function as a primary key? Yes. Sorry?
Remember?
Department number?
Department number.
Yeah, it looks like it. Certainly unique, right? Anybody else?
Well, maybe if you want composite, you can add employee number and department number.
Employee number and department number?
If you,
Mm-hmm.
not really.
So,
I think time ticket number could be a good one.
time ticket number would be a good one, yes. So, we're kind of,
It will be the
Is it-
same for all that stuff.
It is also making that assumption again that there's more tickets.
well, I mean, it's a safe assumption that there's going to be more than one of these documents, right? And since the documents are serialized, that I would say it's certainly the ticket number should be part of the composite key. Hopefully everybody picked up that like there's nothing in here that like this one fits the bill here, but if you had two of these tickets, right, you'll definitely get repetition, right? We're not inventing new department numbers for each ticket, right? So, time ticket is certainly going to be part of our composite key, right? So, or, yeah, ticket number. So, first normal form. I'm just going to call it ticket number. So the question is, what should we put with ticket number?
I think I'll like three. Employee number and department number maybe.
Employee number and department number. So,
Like if we think about this like a whole table,
mhm,
and we put like the repetitive data, like how you show there, time, ticket number, time, ticket date.
mhm.
If you only take the department number, those values are gonna change depending on the department number. No, they stay the same. It doesn't matter if you change the department number. So I think we'll be fine just to take the three of them as the primary key.
The three of them.
Yeah, like
Yeah, see, are we allowed to have a composite key that has 3 entries?
that's a good question.
I'm gonna say you can only have like one of these unique time tickets with that number. And department numbers are also pretty sparse because there's only a limited number of departments, but you've got a lot of employees. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna say time ticket number and department number could be the composite key, personally.
So, a thing that, like, the mathematical requirement that we have of the key is that it uniquely identifies every record, right? So, here's the question. Do we get there with only time ticket number and employee number? Clearly not, because we've got multiple records here, right? Do we get there with time ticket number and department number?
The number will also
I-
change, right?
Well, let's consider it, right? If we have 2 of these, right? Let's say we have this / employee number is 64123, right? But with the same, let's say they're partners or something, they work the same shifts, right? If all I've got as the primary key is time ticket number and department number, does this uniquely identify my records? That's true. The time ticket number will be different. So, this will be different as well, right? So, in actual fact, the employee number is going to be dependent on the time ticket number, right? Because we only have, each time ticket is only for one employee, right? For one employee for one date, right? So this, and in fact, you can probably you can make a little bit of a, it's a little bit of a heuristic, but basically all of the information that's put once on the form will be dependent on the thing that looks like the primary key of that group of data, right? Because it's invariant with these, but it does vary with that. So, time ticket plus department number. Do we like that? Yeah? Now, it does make an assumption, and that's,
If there are any more cases than that.
yeah, we have to make sure that we can't have the department number listed twice here, right? So, if you work 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon, that would need to be reported as 4 hours, right? We're kind of doing an implicit group by department ID now. But I think, given the amount of, given where we are, I think this is a good approximation. So, ticket number and department number will be our composite key, and the rest will fall in line. Date, employee number, employee name, regular hours, and overtime hours. And that's it. Okay, so, all right. Is this, if I go any further, is this going to be too low for people to see? Should I go to the next board? Yeah, okay. Second normal form. All right, so we want to take our composite key, ticket number plus department number. We want to take ticket number by itself, and we want to take department number by itself, and we want to see if any of our values are dependent. So, consider date. Is date dependent on ticket number?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is. And remember that dependency means it does not vary when the other one doesn't vary. So the date is constant for a constant ticket number, so date applies to ticket number. What about employee number? Same. Employee number, what about employee name?
That's dependent on the employee number.
That is dependent on the employee number, but that is the third
Okay.
normal form.
I'm going too far.
Yeah, you've gone one step too far. That's okay. Employee name is also dependent on the ticket number. This is the thing I said, all of the things that are only listed once will be dependent on that one, right? Now, what about, so we've done that one, done that one, done that one. How about regular hours? What's that dependent on?
Because you said that there's implicit grouping being done, there's only one department number being put on there, then regular numbers is dependent on department number.
It's dependent on department number, yes. Is it also dependent on ticket number though?
Oh,
Yes.
It would be, right, because on a different ticket, we might have this as a 3, right? And so unless the department is always giving out like a fixed number of hours, right? It's like, anytime you come to work for us, you get 3 hours of work and nothing else. It's like, you know, this is where the kind of, you have to use a little common sense kind of comes into it, right? So department number, the regular hours will be dependent on both. And OT hours will be the same. And here's a question. Do we have anything left? Yeah?
So you say that the date depends on ticket number, right?
Yes.
So if if the ticket number changes but it's in the same date,
Ooh.
Well, assuming that these ticket numbers, you only get assigned one ticket, like at the end of the workday, presumably don't get more than one per day, but that's also making an assumption, isn't it?
Yeah, but it would be.
multiple guys might have different ticket numbers as well.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we said that employee number is dependent on the ticket number. If it's a different employee, they'll get a different ticket number,
Yes.
right? And you were saying that multiple things might be issued. On like this might be the same
The ticket number might
for the
be
ticket. Yeah. You might have multiple ticket numbers, but the same date here. So this, you've got the relation backwards, right? If this one varied, let me see. So this one's not varying as this one varies.
Yeah.
That's not what that's not the condition. It would be if this one varies without that one varying. That would be, so if you had one ticket number, 24846, and then you had like multiple dates that both used that ticket number, right? Then date would not be dependent on ticket number. But in this case, just because it's not changing doesn't mean it's not dependent, right?
Yeah.
Think of it this way, right? If you have an inventory and you have unit prices, multiple inventory items can have the same price. That doesn't mean that the unit price isn't dependent on item number,
Yeah.
right? Cool. All right. Very good question. Thank you. Yes, department number. Looks at time. So, do we have any attributes left for poor little department number? No. So, it is not part of the second normal form. There's no department table which is suggested here. That doesn't mean that there's no department table that won't be suggested later, but there's no department table yet here. Probably when we do the third one there will be, right? Third normal form. So unlike the previous, we actually have some work to do here, right? So considering our tables from the second normal form, we've got the composite key table, regular hours and overtime hours. Are these things dependent on each other?
I would say yes.
Regular.
Yes?
Like maybe if the regular hours is like maybe more than one, then it goes to the OT hours.
So according to logic,
Oh.
according to reasoning through the problem, yeah, like there is a relationship between the number of overtime hours you get and the number of regular hours you get. You only start getting overtime hours if you've achieved a certain number of regular hours, right? This is like, you know, we've got 8 hours here plus another 2 hours of overtime. You probably wouldn't get overtime unless you had, right, 8 hours here. But this is falling into the category of a business constraint, right? This isn't impacting our normalization. The question that we have to ask is variation here dependent on variation there? The answer is no. This is held constant while this varies. Is this one dependent on that one? No, while this one's held constant, this one varies. So there's no dependency relationship between hours and regular hours for the purpose of normalizing. Does that make sense? Very good. Does that make sense to everyone else? Yeah? Good. However, let's consider this one. Is date dependent on employee number or employee name? Nope. Is there a dependency relationship between employee number and employee name? Yes. Although you wouldn't see it from just this, right? This is us using our brains and the fact that we did the previous tables. This isn't actually implied from one ticket, right? We don't have enough variation here to be able to determine it. But we know that employee name is dependent on employee number from the previous example. So, in the third normal form, we have ticket number plus department name gets us regular and overtime hours. We get ticket number, it has date and employee number, right? So we've popped that one out. We apply it to its own employee number gets employee name. Now you may notice that guy right there is the same as this guy right here. Make sense? So, so far so good? Shall we proceed to the third table? I believe our third and final report. Yes, ma'am, sir, Bob. All right. Man, my arm's starting to get tired. They're like, imagine our hands during the exam, sir. So, this one is the labor distribution report. Labor dist. Sure. So, what are our entities? Date. Once again, like page, we'll leave page off. What else do we have? I believe that's account code. Next. Account name.
Department number.
Department number, yeah. I drew all over, I've scribbled all over these slides. There we go. Department number, department name. And hours and dollars. There we go. Okie dokie. First normal form. Once again, if we were doing it out as a table, we would need to add a column for date and not a column for page, just a column for date, right, in the front. It would have to apply to all of the values, right? But for the purposes of doing the ERD, we don't really have to worry about that too much. So, do we have any calculated values?
No.
Once again, the answer is no. So we can proceed to determining what our keys will be. Determining the key is key. So,
I'm gonna say a combination of account code and department number.
account code and department number. Yeah, I'm liking the look of that. What about date?
The same situation with the other ones.
Mm.
It
So,
doesn't change at all.
Hmm?
It doesn't change at all.
it doesn't change at all for this report, right? I'm assuming pickling is not the process I'm thinking of. Pickling wine. It's like we cast the steel and we immerse it in brine. Seems like a terrible idea, actually. So, account code, definitely key-ish. Department number, also definitely key-ish. But, you know, you can imagine different, like, certainly you'll have different reports for different days, yes?
Oh, on a different day,
So
you might have
are
the same
you-
department number and account code.
Right.
So I was gonna say, are you suggesting that there might be different days with different hours? Like,
Yes, that is what I'm suggesting.
uh,
Like, and you know, basically, like, from a top level standpoint, what this report is trying to tell us is how much money was spent on labor in each department on a particular day. So you could imagine this being a daily report, right? So, you know, on the 3rd, or on the 11th, Department 195 used 861 hours, but on, you know, on the 12th, it was the weekend, so they only had like 12 hours or something, right? Steel mills run every day of the week, but you know. Right? So I would say our date needs to be in there. So here's the question, right? Does date plus account code get us there?
No,
Does date plus department number get us there?
no,
Does date plus account code plus department number get us there?
I'll bet it is. Can you do three-way?
I think we have to. So, let's forge ahead, and then we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when we compare our ERD to the solution.
See what monstrosity we can cause.
Yes, but this is the way I live my life. All right, this is the way I live my life. If you have made logical decisions at every step and reasoned well, your answer can't be too far from the truth. So, let's see, we need date plus account code plus department number. So the one final check I would do here is to make sure that account code is not dependent on department number, right? So question, does department number vary as account code is held constant?
yes.
Yes. Does account code vary as department is held constant?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So there's no dependency relationship between these two. All right. So then the rest of them are here. Account name. Department name, hours, and dollars. So, All right. Second normal form. Now, things are getting complicated. I think, technically speaking, we need to do an analysis for dependency on each of these groups, right? Which means that we end up with date plus account code plus department number. We end up with date plus account code, date plus department number, and then we also end up with account code plus department number,
And then
in addition to date, account code, and department. And before you ask me if there's one this complicated on the exam, I don't know.
Yeah, this is like
Yes.
4 or 5 a little bit.
Yeah. But now that I've written all of that out, let's actually do it. Let's do the full analysis. The obvious approximation is that you assume that anything falling in here would be adequately described by the three-banger, right? And then you would exclude these guys. But let's think things through. We actually don't have that many attributes, right? We've got this one, and this one checked off. We only have 4 of these to analyze, all right? So, account name, what is that obviously dependent on?
Account number.
Account number. Boop, boop. I recommend checking them off as you go, by the way. Yes, if you take a look at account name, it varies 1-to-1 with account code. Very good. How about department name?
Department number.
Varies with department number. For the same reason. So far, so good, right? Boop, boop. Now, hours.
Yeah, 3-way.
That would be a 3-way. Notice, yeah, let's, just to show the analysis, right? The way to do the dependency analysis is to find entries that are the same in the thing you're looking at and see if there's variance in the hours, or variance in the thing you're trying to depend, see if it's dependent, right? So let's go for date first. Will hours vary, are hours held invariant as date is the same? And the answer is no. All of these entries have the same date, but hours varies, right? So can't be that one. If we hold account code invariant, do we have variance in hours? Yes, we do. So it can't be that either, right? If we hold department number invariant, do hours vary? Yes. So hours is not dependent on department number either. So, to go further and determine if hours is dependent on account code and department number, we would need more of these reports. We would need reports from multiple days, right? We don't have that, so we're kind of working on speculation, but I think it's a fair assumption that the hours can vary by date, right? So, let's put hours here, and let's say dollars is the same as hours, because, you know, like, there's a whole nother table that's missing here that's like wage rates, right? So, dollars might actually be a calculated column.
But not in that specific
Yeah,
type
just-
of report.
Hmm.
It will
In a
be,
sum.
but not in this type of specific report.
Well, yes?
So it depends if everybody is paid the same.
Yes. Yeah, is the rate of pay dependent on the department, for example, or the type of account that it's coming from, right? So, let's just assume that let's assume it's not a calculated column and save ourselves the work of trying to determine how it was calculated. Okay?
Yeah, it might be the amount of money that the guy running the department has in his pocket on that day.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a whole nother set of questions. But yeah, so you'll see, all of these guys actually do not exist under the second normal form. Okay. So, let's consider the third normal form. So, again, under third normal form, we only have one attribute in both of these, so there's no possible way that these are dependent on a non-key attribute. They are the only non-key attribute. However, hours and dollars are, you know, it's theoretically possible that they are dependent. Certainly, like, and this is kind of like that thing that I said where, like, I don't want to figure out what the formula was that we calculated one from the other with. Well, you know, if the dollars attribute was eliminated up here, we wouldn't be talking about it now, right? But just looking strictly at the data, do we have an instance of either of these repeating?
No.
No. So we cannot draw any conclusions about the dependency of one on another. Right? So, and I know I'm kind of doing one of those like, ooh, that's a scientist's way of getting out of work, right? It's like, well, the data you gave me was insufficient, and so I decided to go with it. But, you know, that's what we're here for, you know? So, yeah, I'm going to say there is no dependency relationship which we can examine between hours and dollars. There may be some form, like dollars is probably a calculated value, but we have not been given enough information to determine how it was calculated. So we're going to treat it as if it were just data being entered, right? So, in this case, the third normal form and the second normal form are the same. Okay? Sound good? Now, we've been told how many, we were given a hint, 8 entities and 7 relationships. Let's count our entities, shall we? So, 1, skill code and employee number. 2, skill code. 3, employee number. 4, ticket number and department number. 5, ticket number.
We already got that one.
We already got that one. 6, that one. 7, account code, and we have the right number of tables, my friends. So, now it's time to draw the ERD. Ooh, I'm terribly sorry, people watching. This classroom's a lot to manage. There you go. And I'm going to zoom in for you, just because I like you. That's where I'm going to be doing my ERD. There we go. All right. So, when you do your ERDs, it's okay if your lines go kind of all over the place. I don't, like, when doing this, it's like technically if a computer was doing it, you'd be able to move the box so that the lines were short, but we're doing this on paper, right? So, to make the ERD, we have to start creating tables. Transferring this notation into tables. So, let's see here. We've got our first table will be, let's call that employee skill lines. What do we have there? We've got skill code, which is a primary key. Is it also a foreign key? Yeah. PKFK skill code. We've got primary key employee number. Is it also a foreign key?
Yes.
PKFK employee number. We also have two regular fields, skill level and date. Very good. Next, we've got skill code. We'll call this the skill table. We've got primary key skill code. Is that also a foreign key? And skill description. Perhaps we are unclear as to whether that's a foreign key. So, no, that's not a foreign key, right? Now you might be saying to yourself, oh, but that's part of the primary key of this table, that's part of the composite key. It's like, yes.
One goes in one direction.
Yes. So the question is like what the many to one relationship, which direction is that going in? And you know, it's not in that direction. So let's lots of things use employee. So let's put employee over here. Employee. Less space. Primary key. Employee number. And name. There we go. Even thus far, we can start doing some relationship lines, right? So the relationship always is many to one, where many is the foreign key. Foreign key is always the many side, right? So many to one. Oh, that's the wrong one. Blah. This one. There we go. So far, so good. You guys are hopefully, like, are you guys absorbing this? Okay. 2. This guy. So we need ticket number and department number. We'll call this ticket department lines, because I'm being unoriginal. We have primary key, is it also a foreign key?
Yes.
Ticket number, also a foreign key. Primary key, is it also a foreign key? Department number. It is, although you wouldn't see it here, right? The department number occurs right there. So yes, it is a foreign key but to something somewhere else. If not for this final analysis, if not for the final table, it wouldn't be, right? PKFK, department number. Then we also have regular time and overtime, right? Now, we also have ticket number. So this will be the ticket table, primary key, ticket number. Is it a foreign key? Is ticket number a foreign key in this?
No.
No,
No, it's not.
it is not. Is there another foreign key? Employee number, foreign key right here. So we can say and of course ticket number link them up. You see what I mean about the lines being kind of a mess? You know? I think it's unfortunately unavoidable. And that's both of them for that one. Now we need to do the 3 here. So that's probably too much box. Okay, quick hint for making boxes look nice on exams. Just don't close it until you've written the stuff inside. So we've got, oh man, primary key date, primary key account code, primary key department number, right? Is date a foreign key?
Yes. No, it's not.
To what table,
No, it's not.
right?
Oh, ticket number.
Oh,
How about account code? Is that a foreign key?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. What about department number?
yes.
So date doesn't have a table, so it can't be a foreign key. And this one is what is this? Like, it was labor something.
Date is used elsewhere.
It is definitely used elsewhere, but that doesn't, you know, it's maybe that's like 4th normal form.
Okay.
So labor dist lines, right? Labor distribution lines also has hours and dollars. I can feel the class getting excited because they feel I'm almost to the end. And we're gonna do it too. Still got 6 minutes. All right. I was worried for a bit there. We've got accounts, an accounts table, right? Taken from here. Account code, primary key. Is that a foreign key?
No.
It is not. Account name is a just a value. And then final one, department. Primary key, department, code. By the way, the other one in there is definitely homework. Okay? Like, don't not do your homework. You've been warned. Yeah. Department name, I think, is the other one, right? Yeah. So, now we just have to do the final linky arrows. Department number. This is the foreign key side. Alright, there we go. Account code connects over here. Yeah. we go. And department number.
That. Yeah, we have the 7 revisions.
Haha! There we go.
I'm counting them. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So,
I don't like when you see the dates.
eh?
Date is reused in 3 different places.
Again, this is,
Complicated.
I'm presuming that this would be the purpose of higher levels of normal form. Remember the slide said it goes up to like 6.
That's true.
More, I think. So deltas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because there's like first, second, third, and then voice caught, and then fourth, fifth. So why who's voice caught? Why are they in here?
Let's do 9.
I couldn't tell you. Let's take a look, see how we did though. Here we go, here we go.
Oh, that's interesting.
Alright,
They didn't use date at all. They just.
they skipped it?
Did it?
All right. Let's go,
No, it's not.
interesting. You notice how in the first table, or in the first report, we said that second normal form and third normal form was the same? Well, here they are not even, they're not even listing the second normal form, they're skipping right to the third normal form, right?
They only use dates in time ticket. They just ignored it in the other 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's really inconsistent.
There we go. So for third normal form here, we have time ticket department number. There you go, there you go. Yep. Wait, ticket number, employee number, ticket time and date.
Yeah.
Wait, ticket number, employee number.
Ticket time plate.
Yeah, no, that's right. We got it right. We got it right, yeah. They're just using different names, yeah. And then employee table, labor distribution report. Yeah, they didn't include the date.
That's weird, because
That's-
it's on all 3 of them, but they only decided it was valid on the second one.
I mean, I feel like our solution is more correct,
I also do as well.
right? Okay, so here's an important step that we skipped, right? Question?
I feel like the reason why they were skipped on the report is because it's not really relevant to the data, it's just the time that the report was printed out. But for the time, that's actually relevant to the data.
Yeah.
So technically, the date in the first and thirds are just extra bit of information that's not real data. Like, you could print out the same report in a different day, it's the exact same data, it's irrelevant.
I mean, knowing what an employee's skills are on a given week would be valuable, considering their skill levels probably change as time goes on.
But I don't think, but the thing is, the date's not related to when the skill changes.
We're caught in a bit of a loop, and I'd like to see the ERD. There's, sorry, we only have 2 minutes left in class. So there is one step that we didn't really do here, which is important to note. If you'll notice, where we noted that employee number and name, this was the same table in both cases. If they had different dependent attributes, we would combine them into one table. Right? That didn't come up in this example, but that's a thing that can happen, okay? So like if, for example, one of these reports told you what the employee's favorite color was, and so you had favorite color over here but not over there, your final employee table would need to have favorite color in it, right? So let's see, drum roll please. See, this is much better laid out. So, skill, where's skill? Skill. Skill goes to employee skill. Skill goes to employee skill. Employee skill goes to employee. Employee skill goes to employee. Employee goes to ticket. Ticket. Ticket goes to Ticket, I called it ticket department lines, this is called, ticket, detail, weird name. That goes to department goes to labor, and labor goes to account, and I wasn't checking the crow's feet to see if they were consistent, but I think they are. So, so that's kind of interesting that they, they threw out the date, but, we did it! Yay! I will say it again. There are 2 case studies. We did one of them. Do the other one. Okay? Do the other one. It's a significant chunk of the exam. A significant chunk. Okay?
Basically practice normalization quite a bit.